Well, let's see if I can do it the right way this time, since I've screwed it up twice and just taken pictures instead of setting it to record. It's currently Monday, December 23rd, and I've owned the house for just over a year now. So, figured I'd do a tour and walk around to the house, just showing all the different changes that have been done to the house. In a year, well, technically only half a year since I'm gone for a week at a time and only home for a week at a time. But, yeah. So if anybody remembers, there was a relatively big spruce tree right there, and then there was also a group of 3 or 4 mini spruce trees right there. I took those all out because of the danger that the roots could eventually pose to both mine and my neighbor's house. Also, with how tall the big one was and where it was overhanging on my roof, the needles, the bows, everything were actually plugging the downspout on that side of the house. When I finally got up there and got a chance to clean it, there was almost 2 solid feet worth of debris in the downspout sealing it. So it was just holding the water up there. For anybody that remembers, the pictures I put up on Facebook, I'd actually pulled these stairs away from the side of the house at one point because I thought with the way it looked that it was leaning directly on the house, that there was nothing supporting it, because you could see the gap right down here. Well, when I pulled it away, I found that there was actually 2 cement, concrete, whatever you want to call them, pillars that it's sitting on there that are buried. So the house wasn't actually taking the weight, which was nice to know. But when I was pulling it away, the 2 friends that were helping me, they didn't notice them until I'd stopped pulling. So we had already pulled the stairs almost all the way off. So it took a little bit of jerry-rigging to get it back on there after. But I did get it. I just used the back of my truck and a couple of spare tires and walked the truck or the stairs back and forth a little bit, as hard as that is to do, especially solo, but it worked. But it was just as well, because when I pulled this out down here, there was almost an 8-inch hole that was just a gap. So, and unfortunately, I'd actually found a dead blue jay in there that had been in there for a very long time. It was completely, or there was nothing left of it except for the bones and the feathers. So for the backyard, if anybody also remembers, there used to be a really big spruce right there, but because of the way it was leaning, I took that one out too. And I did that because with the way it was leaning, if it ever came down, it would go over to my neighbor's house and take out part of his garage, probably part of his house as well, but it would also take out the power lines. And I just didn't want to take that chance. These 2 trees that are over here, I've done some pruning on them, but I haven't fully decided yet if they're going to come down or if I'm just going to prune them even further back. I don't like the fact that they overhang into my neighbor's yard, so I want to clean that up. But my biggest thing is, if I do take them out, it's because they are a type of crabapple that's inedible, at least for us. But all the mice and the hornets and everything around here seem to really love them. This year, I've thankfully not had any issues with the field mice in the house. My neighbor across the way behind me there, he gave me some poison pellets for pests last year, and ever since I put them around the house, I haven't found them again. But I've also been slowly sealing every crack, crevice, and hole I found in the foundation. So it's basically to the point where I don't think they have many, if any, entry points anymore. So it's slowly getting there. Excuse me. But illuminating a food source also makes a difference. What the hell? There was something else back here. Oh, right. And when I was in the front yard this summer working, I'd actually been bitten by 2 hornets that they just latched onto my arm and wouldn't let go, to the point where they actually drew blood. So, yeah, kind of want to eliminate that again, but I'm not going to show the garage because there's nothing in there that you haven't seen already. It's just a disaster where I keep storing all the junk. Until I'm ready to clean it up and finish it in there too. So the inside hasn't changed much. For those that remember, this used to be where the main electrical panel was, right there. And that's what I had to remove for drywall in order for the electricians to come in. Unfortunately, All of these walls tested positive for asbestos. So going by that I'm going to assume that all the walls in the house, all the drywall, have asbestos in them. So potentially next summer, if I have the time and the money, all the cabinets, the counters, absolutely everything upstairs is going to come out. And I'm going to rip out all the drywall from the wall, every wall up here, not just the kitchen, the living room, the 2 bedrooms, the bathroom, everything. The ceilings, absolutely everything. It will all come out. And rip out all the drywall and redo it. And I'm not redoing that this time around for the asbestos, but I'm doing it because the outside walls, if they have any insulation left, there's not much there. Like, my furnace runs nonstop during the winter, even right now with it being like +2 outside. It's kicking in almost every 15 minutes, and I only have it set to 18 degrees, so there is a lot of heat loss in the house, and a lot of cold air comes through, especially like around here. I don't know if they were never sealed properly along here or what. I actually do plan on taking all the boards off the walls, or at least the framing off, to check behind it and see, and buy some more, or buy some foam to try and fill it if there are gaps. So the kitchen I haven't done a lot. This shelf was put up to give me more space. This is actually something I saw with someone doing a reno on YouTube once. A tool chest makes a hell of a difference. Gives you so much extra space for utensils and knives and everything else, instead of using dinky little cupboards and drawers. So for anyone who remembers, when I bought the house, there was no stove here. I picked that stove up used for $100 because the guys, KitchenAid has a really stupid feature built into their ovens. They have what they call a steam clean feature. Good idea, poorly executed. When I looked into it, they have so many complaints against them because of that steam clean feature, because it heats up so much that it actually fries parts on the motherboard. And that's what it did with this one. It had actually fried 3 of the relays on the motherboard. To buy a brand new motherboard for this, it started at $450. I went and talked to a repair shop here in town, took him my motherboard, and he was able to replace the two of the relays for $150. The third one that was needed to be done, he didn't have in stock, so he just gave me a different working motherboard he had and took my old one. And ever since, I've had a working stove for both the stovetop and baking. The living room, I finally have some furniture, even though it is a disaster in here. The couches came from my neighbors actually over on that side of the house, because they went and bought new furniture this year. And they had no use for this stuff anymore, so asked if I would like it. And I said yes. Not having furniture meant I couldn't host gatherings or anything inside, and I've been wanting to host gatherings in the house. This mirror is actually something my dad made. He used to do a lot of furniture making stuff. He still has all his tools, and he's still a welder fabricator and has the availability to make it. He just hasn't for years because it didn't sell quite as well as much as he hoped, I'm guessing, and I'm assuming it's just because of where he lives. He lives in a small town. The bathroom, nothing's really changed about it. Just the stick-in tiles I put down because it was all exposed flooring. Took out the sliding glass doors on the shower because having to duck to get in and out of the shower every friggin' time was a pain in the ass. This bedroom, I have said I want to turn this into eventually the bathroom, but we'll have to see, because there is a possibility that this coming year my mom might be moving in with me. We just moved her to the neighboring city 3 hours away earlier this year. But living with her brother, they've had a few issues and they've been bumping heads a lot. So I've told her ever since we moved her, if she needs or wants, she's more than welcome here. My bedroom, nothing really different about it. Everything's still kind of stored on and off the floor, depends on what I'm working on that week. But it is slowly coming together. I'm actually making brackets for all the windows upstairs so they can hold dual curtain rods. So I can have one set of opaque like this so you can see through them, let light in, and then have the heavy duty ones in front of them. So I've got the brackets for that window, and that window made. Actually, I'm not going to worry about this one in here, so I'm going to use the third set of brackets for the living room. And yeah, go from there. So let's check out the last area, the basement. The main area where I basically live. Upstairs is only used for when I'm cooking and sleeping, really, and using the bathroom. But for anybody who remembers, this all used to be exposed concrete last year. There was nothing down here. I have spent a lot of time down here just getting this all organized and done and livable. This is my man cave down here. So I'll show it in a minute here. But yeah, I'd actually just finished down here a couple of days ago. So even across all of this was all exposed concrete, lots of heat loss, lots of cold air coming just through the concrete constantly. So I think it was 2 days ago, I just finished getting it all done because I'd run out of the the adhesive that sticks it to the wall. Most really strong adhesives will melt the foam. So you have to use a specific kind, and I ran out, so I couldn't finish it for a while. So yeah, that exercise bike, I actually picked up, was it late last year or earlier this year? I don't remember which. For $40. That's a $1,000 exercise bike. You can actually sync it to a specific Google account and your phone and have it do, like, it's called Le Tour de France. And it will actually allow you to do certain trails. I've never been able to get it to link, and I don't know why, but I just never put too much effort into it. So I didn't really care, but yeah, it's so sorry. Just trying to move things around so I'm not bumping it. So yeah, my computer's set up. I do still have my second computer, which is down here right now. That case is empty. Eventually all the stuff that's in the computer that's on my desk is going to be transferred over to this case right here, just because the way it's designed is it actually has a better airflow circulation. And then my gaming wall. So these are all the hard copy games I've collected since I was 5 years old. That's going to be my little Lego shelf for the Lego sets I build. And then my gym. I picked up... Sorry, I was actually going to go back to it. That treadmill, as I said, was $1,000 when you buy it brand new. I picked it up for $40 because the previous owner, he had it. And there's a bolt that holds the pedal in. Well, somehow he snapped that bolt, and he couldn't figure out how to get it out. Well, it just needs a tap and die set. So I spent the $70 buying a tap and die set. Unfortunately, because the ones I bought were Ryobi. Now, I have nothing against Ryobi. I've never used them before, but they have kind of earned their bad name. Well, they earned it with me that day too, because as soon as I used them, the first turns stripped the tap set. I couldn't use it again, but I was able to get the broken bolt out. So I paid $40 for the bike. I returned the tap and die set, got my $70 back, and in essence, it cost me $1 to fix that bike. So it works perfectly now. And then there's my art desk. I keep adding additional shelves and everything because I need them. So all these little tilt-o bins down here are all filled with my Lego pieces for resin pieces I'm building. But yeah, I've got my punching bag, my weight bench, my bands. I picked this treadmill up. They were selling it for $75, I think. But because they didn't know how to adjust the belt, and the belt had moved all the way over to the side, and it was rubbing. Because they didn't know how to adjust them, they actually just gave it to me for free if I still wanted it. It's like, well, yeah, because I know how to adjust it. So for those who don't know, treadmills have a bolt here and on that side, which controls where this is positioned. So if you ever have your belt going back and forth or tracking unevenly, get those. You usually just need an Allen key, take these covers off, and then you can see where it's at. So I also have these shelves on these tilt-out bins, which have more Lego pieces. The big ones at the bottom here have all of the resin crystals and real crystals that I use for my pieces. I'm also, hopefully it's not going to be too bright, but I've actually been making brackets to put in the ceiling joists down here because I'm putting in LED pod lights. Less consumption and a better lighting source. And then the third bedroom in the basement, which is actually now my wood shop. Eventually, when I can move everything for all my tools outside to the garage or shop, whichever I end up doing, this will become a third bedroom again. So I will rip out all the walls down here as well. Properly insulate those walls because they probably don't have any foam backing on them, and then insulate them properly. So yeah, it is kind of a cramped room, but it works. I'm on any given set of days off, I'm in here for at least 2 to 3 of my days off. Getting stuff built, making stuff, whatever. This is the framework for a bed frame I'm making for the spare bedroom upstairs. Because I don't know, my mom hasn't fully made up her mind yet about whether she's going to move in. So I'm just going from there for now, and we'll just have to wait and see. If she doesn't decide to, then I can move on with my plan to make it into a larger bathroom for the house. If not, or if she does, then it's a spare bedroom, and I'll just redo the main bathroom and go from there. So thank you everybody for being here for the tour, and I will hopefully have this uploaded to YouTube within a few days. I have to go back to work tomorrow. So we'll have to see how it goes. You all take care, and wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to come.